I wanted to share this article with y'all because it like struck something in me. Being a brother from Tennessee, this lady Fawn Weaver, she carried on a legacy that her uncle Norris Green created with Jack Daniels and with the alcohol industry, and she built or she contributed to building $1 billion empire. And as of recently, it's articles all over the place talking about how she lost it all. She was fired from the $1 billion empire. Now, me, when I heard the word fired from an empire, I was wondering how is that possible? But me knowing about investors, me knowing about percentages and people contributing to you evolving something that you believe in, it helped me understand that, you know, everybody works for somebody. Now, this is a 2 minute read. I want to read this article to y'all. Then I want to play the clip off of YouTube of her celebrating her uncle's success and telling the story. But me being from Tennessee and seeing somebody black own a black owned alcohol $1 billion business and being fired from it, this heavy. I ain't gonna cap to y'all, this heavy. Fawn Weaver built Uncle Nearest into one of the most celebrated black owned spirits brands in the country. Now she is out. According to reports, a court appointed receiver has fired the founder and former CEO as the whiskey company heads towards a court supervised sale amid mounting debt and legal battles. The stunning turn makes a dramatic fail for a brand that once symbolized the reclamation of black history and the reshaping of American whiskey industry. The federal court documents reviewed by the New York Times showed that court appointed receiver Philip G. Young Jr. terminated Weaver's employment effective June 1st as Uncle Nearest heads towards a court supervised sale. The receiver said the decision was intended to reduce operational confusion while the company navigates ongoing investigations. While the decision was not made lightly, it has resulted in significantly less confusion among employees and vendors and has made business operation significantly smoother, the filing read. Weaver and her husband, Keith Weaver, remain defendants in ongoing legal proceedings. We previously told you the receiver's forensic investigation has not produced additional legal claims against them. However, the developments mark a stunning reversal for a company once celebrated as one of the fastest growing independent whiskey brands in the country. Uncle Nurse built its reputation by reconnecting consumers with a forgotten chapter of American history. Founded in 2017, the company is named after Nathan Norris Green, a formerly enslaved black man credited with showing Jack Daniels the ropes of whiskey. The brand has since grown to $1 billion profit, according to Forbes. Let me stop and I'm going to continue to read here in a minute, though, y'all. But, you know, to me, to build a brand off of the backs of our history to $1 billion in under a decade is unprecedented. It's really unprecedented. It shows you the worth of the black struggle, the black dollar, the black influence. The legacy cannot be erased by today's headlines. Still, cultural significance cannot shield a company from financial reality. Uncle Nearest is still entangled in more than $100 million in disputed debt, prompting the appointment of a receiver last year, the Root reported. The company's core assets could be sold in the coming weeks, pending court approval. Weaver called the receiver's appointment a smear campaign, adding during an Inc. 500 conference, every entrepreneur is going to have a moment in time where it looks like it is all lost, she said, according to the Inc. The only difference between those who have been the most successful entrepreneurs in American history and those who have failed are those who gave up in the in between. For black entrepreneurs, the story carries difficult but important lessons. Representation matters. Historical restoration matters. Building institutions that challenge centuries of exclusion matters. But so does governance, capital discipline, and substantial growth. Weaver has not spoken publicly about her termination. Earlier this year, the New York Times bestselling author announced she'd be taking a break from social media to focus on writing a new book. The irony is impossible to miss. Weaver's name has been ripped from her own brand years after restoring Nearest Green's rightful place in history after generations of omission. Still, she permanently changed the conversation about race, entrepreneurship, and the whiskey industry, regardless of who ultimately owns the company. Damn. Damn. You know, I look at our companies, the most successful ones, and the ones that we contribute to the most, such as BET, such as this whiskey brand. I don't want to see no other ethnicity owning this company. I want to see us celebrating us supporting us. But how important is us supporting something that isn't beneficial to us, like alcohol? Uh, Even though a multitude of races own their own alcohol brand, this is just, man, this is devastating to see all the companies. People say that companies are created and built to sell. This is lost. She let investors come in, and I don't want to see them take what she created. Real talk. I just don't want to see it. I'm tired of it. This is starting to become normalized. Let's see her celebrating the brand that she lost.
People ask me all the time, what do I want my legacy to be? I don't care. If 3 generations from now, they don't remember Fawn Weaver lived, I don't care. And that's the interesting thing, because I'm so passionate about cementing the legacy of Nearest Green, but I don't actually care about people remembering me. Maybe that's why I'm the steward of this story, that I was chosen to be this generation's baton holder of this story and building this brand to pass it to the next generation, is because I don't think about myself in the process at all. As a kid, I don't know that I would say I was entrepreneurial. I would say that people would have called me rebellious, as they did. And I think most entrepreneurs would have been called rebellious as their kids. So maybe it means the same thing in childhood. If someone called our house, we would have to pick up the phone and say, it's a great day at the Wilson house. How may I help you? Well, what do you do if it's not a great day? And so I was that child that was like, I'm not going to say it's a great day. I'm not having a great day. And so there was just a nonstop battle with myself and my parents. And at the age of 15, they had a new baby girl, and they wanted to have an opportunity to raise her without there being a negative influence in the house. So they sat me down, and it was a, sort of shape up or ship out type of conversation. It was very much so, listen, we want to have the opportunity to raise her without you negatively impacting her. And so you have 2 choices. Either you do what we are now telling you to do as your parents in this household, or you have to leave. I think I was there another hour. My mom says she remembers me leaving out with a backpack and a lunch pail. When I left home at 15, I dropped out of high school not too long after. And so I found myself at a place called My Friend's Place. And it's for young people. And then the only place that had a bed for me was Children of the Night. When I turned 18, I could no longer be at Children of the Night. So they moved me to Covenant House. And so at Covenant House, every day you go out with your resume, you go out and you look for a job. It's a requirement. You either have to go to school or you have to go out and look for a job. I went out the very first day and I came back, and we have these campfire things that you would do. And everyone around the campfire was lamenting about how hard it is to find a job. And they went out and they put out this and that and this and that. And I sat there silent because I went out and came back with 4 jobs. And I sat there and I was like, okay, I'm different. Beginning my first business at 18, I started with 2 clients, both paying me, I think, $5,000 a month. I thought I was really rich. But then you learn that your top line and your bottom line don't mirror one another if you hire a whole bunch of people. And
This article is her telling her story on Forbes. I don't want to continue to play this because, they may try to give me a copyright strike. I wanted to celebrate this woman because of what she obtained and achieved. And, I got family members that has visited this facility where they created the whiskey at. It's a historical place for black people. We don't have many of those places in the country, especially in the South. You know, in the South, when you go to places that is historical for black people, it's always some sort of story about death or the lack of, or Birmingham, or Martin Luther King lived here before this is a $1 billion industry what she had created, and her losing it or getting fired from it is a sad time, and it's a interesting conversation that I think that we should have as people about the financial structure of capitalism and how we play our part in capitalism. What can we do to assist our own? What can we do to contribute to seeing each other evolve? Why did this fail? It's a big boy conversation that needs to be had. Real talk. I appreciate y'all tuning in to my show. Get into the comment section, man. Let's further this discussion. This is very interesting. Peace, love, plenty abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and I'm gone.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.